Hello and welcome to AFL Round 2 injuries. I'll try to cover every single injury that I was able to see or get off the AFL website. There may be some injuries that the clubs haven't reported yet, but these are the ones that I've seen so far. If you've seen an injury that is not on this list in this video, please leave a comment below letting me know. In this first clip, you can see that Bontempelli is tackled and straight away grabs at his right ankle. He later goes off, has a few tests, but he does play the rest of the game. So I think he's just going to be a little bit sore, so I don't think he'll be injured, but it's something to keep an eye out for. Whether during the week he does pull up sore and doesn't play, just something to keep in the back of your mind. There's a possibility for an injury upgrade during the week. Again, in this video, it doesn't actually look like much at all, but Patrick Dangerfield is chasing Jordan Dawson from the Crows, and I'm not sure if he trips or he just there's a little bit of a stumble, but apparently now that he has to go in for scans Monday morning on his hamstring. So this could be pretty bad news for him, especially due to his age. If this is a hamstring, he's going to be out for quite a while. It didn't look like much, but there must be a bit of a lingering issue there. Fingers crossed it's nothing too bad and he'll be back very soon. Another soft tissue injury very early in the season. In this clip, you can see Mabior Chol has gone for the spoil over Stephen May, and this just looks like a typical spoil. He does lead in with the knee, but apparently this has cracked 3 ribs in Stephen May's chest and also fractured a vertebrae in his spine. It's actually a pretty serious injury overall, so I wouldn't expect to see Stephen May for at least 8 weeks. If you've ever had a bruised rib or a broken rib, you know how extremely painful that is. So I don't expect to see him for a large majority of the rest of the season. He will be getting scans on the Monday morning apparently, so that'll tell the severity of the recovery. But overall, not very good news for Stephen May. Mabior Chol is totally a legal thing to do in the game. He definitely wasn't out there trying to injure him. He was defending himself, creating the space with his knee. It's just unfortunate you see this every game and nothing ever happens, but unfortunately Stephen May has 3 broken ribs and a fractured vertebrae. Ouch. This one again does not look like much at all, but you can see that Jake Lever is going back for the contest to defend, and I don't know if he overextends or what, but you can see him pull up very quickly and touch I think it's his right hamstring. It's not good news for him. He does go to the club doctors, they do a few tests, he tries on the bike, but I don't think he plays again from the rest of this point for the rest of the game. And again, I think he'll have scans and it's most likely going to be some time out for him with a hamstring injury. This one was obviously very hard to watch as Mason Wood goes back very courageously, tries to spoil the ball, unfortunately gets cleaned up by his teammate, lands very badly. You can see he lands on his head and neck area, and turns out that he's broken his collarbone, also been knocked out. So again, I wouldn't expect to see him for many weeks. The concussion's got to be at least 2 weeks, I would imagine. He's been knocked out cold. You can see he was convulsing on the ground. It's really bad to see, very concerning. Something like that can do permanent damage, so let's just hope that he turns up alright during the week and that the collarbone can heal very quickly, and hopefully we'll see him at some point in the tail end of the AFL season. As Nick Coffield was trying to spoil the ball against King, it looks like he dislocates his shoulder. Apparently this is an ongoing issue for him. He had surgery on it in 2019. So it sounds like he's done it again, and it's most likely going to be the end of his season, unfortunately. Just for a spoil, it does not look anything bad at all. There's not that much strain, but he's clearly tried to go for the punch and it's popped out the socket. Most likely needing surgery, so I think his season is over, unfortunately. Laverty and Papley both played for the rest of the game here, but I'm quite surprised that Papley didn't have to undergo a scat test because he clearly hits his head on the ground. No concussion test was done on him. I don't think the AFL really follow up with anything like this. So as long as he played the rest of the game, I guess he's free to play next week as well. But it is a little bit concerning that you can see someone hit their head on the ground and they don't do any sort of test for this. But anyway, just something we need to be aware of moving into the future. 2-metre Peter Wright has absolutely cleaned up Harry Cunningham, and we expect this to be probably a 3 to 4, maybe even more week suspension. That's for a later video, but Harry Cunningham has been clean knocked out, so I would expect that he will be out for at least 1 week, most likely 2, depending on the severity of his concussion test. He obviously failed the SCAT test, so he was unable to play for the remainder of the game. What are your thoughts on this? Swallow from the Suns and Richards from the Western Bulldogs have both gone for the contest. Unfortunately, it looks like Edwards comes off second best. It does look like Swallow is going for the ball, so this will be interesting to see what actually happens with it as far as suspensions go. But you can clearly see that Ed Richards is in quite a bit of trouble here. He's spent a lot of time on the ground with an elbow to the head, so he was subbed out for the rest of the game. Western Bulldogs actually already had their sub, so he just didn't play the rest of the game, but I would be very surprised if he is back within a week. I would imagine that it's at least a 2-week sort of concussion protocol due to the severity of it, and he did not look good laying on the ground there. This one was very hard to pick up, but it looks like Stanley has injured his knee a little bit. He did play the rest of the game, so he might be fine next week, but he will be probably carrying a fairly bruised knee as Riley O'Brien has landed completely on his knee. You can kind of see it in slow-mo. He'll probably be fine to play, but yeah, very sore. Sam Skalski from Freo was very slow to get up, and you can see that he took quite a bit of time to get back up, staring at his knees. He did get trapped in a tackle, but he did play the rest of the game. This was in the first quarter. He still played the remainder of the game. So something to keep an eye out for. He will be very sore, so wouldn't be surprised if he's a late out for a future game. Latham Vandermeer from the Western Bulldogs, after getting rid of the ball, goes down and he's holding his knee. It actually looks like it's an ACL injury at the start, just the way he's sort of rocking back and forth. It just feels like he knows what the pain is from doing an ACL. The medicos come in and help him up, and he seems to be okay, but overall it looked pretty bad, but he did come back and play the game as far as I'm aware, so he might be alright. But just the way he was acting at the start, it actually seemed like it could have been very bad, like an ACL. But we'll see during the week what the Western Bulldogs report and whether he will be available next week or not. After this goal for the Saints, Liam Henry is a little bit slow to pull up. You can see that he very slightly grabs at his right hammy, and it appears that this was the last time that we saw him for the rest of the night. On Monday, he's going in for scans for his hamstring, and apparently he's going to be spending a fair bit of time on the sidelines, according to the St Kilda club. Didn't look like much at all, but maybe it was a little bit sore coming into this game, or maybe he overextended it here in this last little play. But apparently he will be out for quite a few weeks now with a hamstring injury. Anyway, that's all the injuries that I saw in the Round 2 2024 AFL season. If you saw any others that I didn't pick up, leave a comment below and let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Thanks for watching.